Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Royal News Network Saturday morning live stream. It is lovely to see all of you today. I am in my new place, so I'm getting it all figured out, so I may move my live streams around from time to time. But I was really excited to have you guys here. Let me know if you can't hear me because it's been a while since I've done this, and maybe I turned my mic off. So if I have, please let me know. It's been a little bit, but I'm so excited to be back here. I'm so sorry that we did not have a live stream last week. I was in the UK with a tour group of people who most of whom follow the channel. A couple actually didn't, but it was just such great fun. And it was a great time to kind of unplug a smidge. Hopefully, I'm planning on next time having some videos going in the meantime. Because I'm hoping maybe that a trip to Germany and Austria will still come off. But anyways, guys, I am so excited to see you all this morning again. And a bit of royal news this week, but not a ton. But just a little bit of a quick recap. Here we have Catherine and William went to the royal wedding of the Crown Prince of Jordan and his new wife, Rajwa. And I did a fashion video on that on my fashion channel, Royal Fashion News, if you want to check that out. It is currently, you can join the other 900,000 plus odd people who have watched that video. It's doing insanely well. I'm so excited because the fashion videos sometimes are really, really hard because there's just a lot of work, a lot of pulling pictures and videos and everything. So Catherine and William looked great. And let me go ahead and I should just pull up some pictures. I have so many pictures from that event, but it was wonderful and amazing. It looked absolutely incredible. All the royal ladies looked fantastic. It would have been lovely to actually get a group picture perhaps of everyone. All the royals, they usually do that. This time they did not, but we did have a kind of, you could say, a family picture. So let me go ahead and share this with oh, no, that's the wrong button. Share this with everyone here real quick. So there is the bride and most of her new family and right here. So I actually don't see her parents here. So this is all the Hashemite royal family of Jordan. So they are all there and present. I think the bride looks lovely. I still have some questions about her dress. Like I like it and I don't at the same time. Like I love the neckline. I love the train. Just it's weird because it's like a fitted silhouette dress and then a long train. So it's just a bit different, but it has probably a good functionality to it. And then, of course, Catherine and William both looked fabulous. Catherine in particular, she's wearing the pink version of her Jenny Packham dress that she wore in the green previously. She has the pink version now, which I always really liked. So I'm super, super stoked that now she has that one as well, because I was really hoping we would see that. Because Crown Princess Mary has that same dress, and I really, really love it on her. So I was super, super excited that now Catherine has her own version as well. And so let me see if I can pull up here a picture, because I got so many pictures and I kind of lost track of everything. So this is a picture of Catherine and William, and you can actually see William in the back chatting with Ivanka Trump. So here is a picture there of Catherine and full length of her gown. I think, again, I love that Jenny Packham dress. I think it's gorgeous. I love the pink version, so I'm really excited she got that. And so she looked absolutely stunning there. So many royals. There's so many royal ladies. So if you guys want to check out that video, I would highly recommend it. It's doing, again, like I said, insanely well. And so I'd love for you all to watch it if you get a chance. So anyway, so yes, I'm so excited to be back here. We also have I feel like more and more articles about Harry and Meghan essentially living separate lives. And it sounds like things aren't going well behind the scenes. We got this indication that apparently Meghan likes to try to weasel her way into various Hollywood parties, and everybody's kind of like, what are you doing? And then we have a couple reports about him being rather unhappy, and he has 2 court cases coming up this week. One's in Washington, D.C. regarding his visa status here in the States, and the other one is in the UK, and he will testify. So that'll be a lot of fun fodder for everyone. So I am super looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But yeah, so much royal news. I don't think we had anything else too big, although it is Lilibet's 2nd birthday tomorrow. So we'll see, because I always feel like Harry and Meghan, well, particularly Meghan, she more will push Lilibet because Lilibet has the Diana connection. So I feel like she'll push her a bit more. So we may or may not get a picture of Lilibet. But like some guy said earlier this week regarding Harry and Meghan, they have done literally everything wrong. So because of that, there just doesn't seem to be a strong future for the two of them. I'm not sure if they could ever really repair their image. I'm just not sure if they could. I think it's huge question mark if they can actually do it, because at this point their brand is so damaged, and I don't think they can do the necessary things to help their brand, because Meghan is just so self-obsessed that I don't think she can listen to somebody else, because I really don't think William Morris Endeavor had anything to do with the taxi stunt or the paparazzi chase stunt, and I'm sure they were pretty livid with Meghan about that, because when she did that, it's like everybody's called her out for basically lying about it. And when she do something like that so publicly and everybody's like, what are you doing? And you seem to have also put other people in danger in order to serve yourselves. That just generally doesn't go over very well. And real quick before I begin, so I don't forget, is I do have an upcoming trip to Germany and Austria. And so if you guys want to hang out with me for about a week, and we will travel to various castles and palaces connected with the Bavarian royal family and then the Habsburgs as well, I'd love to have you join me. And if you do go, because I have 4 spots left in order to confirm. And if you do go, I made everybody a special shirt for my UK trip, and I will do the same for Germany and Austria as well. This one says, never complain, never explain. So this is kind of and then you have London and the Cotswolds down below in the date. So that is really fun. So let's go ahead and get into the comments here. And we have Babs. Thank you so much for a super sticker. You are so sweet. I really do appreciate it. And let's meet everybody else as well. Kimberly says, good morning from everyone in Louisiana, just making my Woodard's hot chocolate and looking forward to today's live. That is what I did too. And I got a white chocolate one that was like lemon drizzle, and I meant to try it on air and then I kind of forgot. And I also will say I went to Woodard's, and they have this black currant and elderflower. They call it a tea. It almost feels more like a juice. It's unbelievably good. So I got some of this, super easy. They call it a tea. It's like an flavor instant tea. You literally just put a couple scoops into a glass of water, stir it around a bit, and you just got a great little drink there. So I am super stoked about that. That was awesome. So Graham, can't wait for your videos. Thank you. Patty, looking forward to my Saturday dose of RNN. Notifications on. Thank you so much. Hi, Brittany. Good morning to you and Pippa. Yes, she is hanging around here. Oh, she's in her bed over there. I brought her bed up from downstairs. So she is happy sleeping and wondering why I talk to myself all the time. Rebecca said, oh, no, Prob Fi. Oh, hello. And then we got Sharon. Good morning to all. And I think I forgot to say your name, Millie. Good morning. And then we have Martin. Hi, all. Hope everyone is well. I have to go out, so I can't watch live, unfortunately, but I look forward to catching it later. Yes. We have Mary Ann Coffee and everyone talking about my favorite topics. Yes, it is so fun. It is so fun to talk about. And it was fun, too, on the trip to hear everybody talking about and sharing their thoughts. And I have to I saw Wendy, I saw you on here because her daughter went on the trip. You said the UK trip was great. And I have something to say about that, too. Wendy shared through her daughter the best explanation for Meghan asking for Catherine's lip gloss. And so Wendy, 100% shout out here. This was great. It makes total sense. So there's this bit in the book where Harry talks about how they did their only public Fab Four event, really. Harry and Meghan and Catherine and William. And this was at an event talking about the Royal Foundation. And Harry mentioned, and you felt like he was trying to portray Catherine as being in the wrong here, but it like really didn't work, is that he said Meghan, right before they walked on stage, asked Catherine if she could borrow her lip gloss. And Wendy, I think, completely is accurate in saying this is actually a stunt that actresses pull right before going into an audition to put the other woman off her game. So it's a way of kind of intimidating and then kind of challenging and messing up someone about to go into their audition for the same part. And I think that makes complete and total sense. So bravo, Wendy. I just totally I'm on that. I think you're 100% right there. I think it was a way for Meghan to actually intimidate Catherine, who was, reminder, like 6 months pregnant. So yeah, Meghan, you're not in auditions anymore, honey. I don't know what you thought you were doing, but why were you trying to intimidate and put your sister-in-law off her game? Like, why? But it was just such a thing that she would do. It just makes total sense. So yes, bravo, Bravo, Wendy. I totally got you there. And I hope your daughter had a fantastic time. And Sharon, thank you so much for the super sticker as well. And then we also have Lizzie. I loved both dresses Catherine wore to the royal wedding in Jordan, but the one that blew me away was the neon green Sheikh Moza of Qatar wore to the evening reception. Yes. So Sheikh Moza, she is actually the second consort of the former Emir of Qatar. And she has like just incredible, her fashion sense is incredible. It's kind of wild, but it's very, I feel like, dramatic and sort of like over the top. And really, she wore this and it's like gorgeous and glamorous. And yeah, you really have to see the video. So watch my video on the fashion, because I will go ahead and share what it looks like here, because I think it is definitely well worth looking, but it's better in the video. But yeah, she wore this neon green and it's really flows well. It's gorgeous. And she looks gorgeous. And I always feel like she's very dramatic. She's very, very high fashion. And so she gets all these things though to fit the more conservative aesthetics of the Qatar, in the Middle Eastern country where she lives. So I think she looks glamorous. She usually goes to the foreign functions, even though her husband is no longer the emir. Her son is the current emir. So it's kind of interesting because in Middle Eastern countries, they choose who is the next to succeed. So for a period of time, Hussein's brother was actually the crown prince, and then his uncle, or something to that effect. And then he switched it to his son. And sometimes there's still a bit competitive because I guess one of Abdullah's half brothers is pretty popular. And so there was a bit of contention over who would rule next. Like he wanted to supersede Hussein or something. So there's interesting things that go on behind those royal families, in part because they have so many members. So it is a bit more interesting. Louise Anderson, thank you so much. Congrats on 700,000 views for the latest fashion video. It's actually close now. Last time I looked, what's interesting, if you don't know, is the public can only see part of how well a video is doing. I can see the back end. So it's actually currently at 930,000. So that'll be my first video ever to hit 1 million, I believe. So that's exciting. And tea time with Mima. Brittany, you look lovely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I got up early this morning and yeah, it's been good. It's been good trying to get everything based. Oh, Lisa, thank you so much. Missing my RNN fix. Looking forward to, but have to sleep. So watch, we'll watch later. Okay. Yes. Don't feel free. Oh my goodness. Some of these are so early. Lizzie, looking forward to the live since last Saturday. Lucy, hi from Australia. Good morning. Kimberly, good morning, everyone for Louisiana. Yes, I read yours earlier. Renee, good morning. Gigi, and we have so many good mornings. And then we have Jenna here. She's saying divorce, hoping RF will take him back and give him money, then she'll come back. That could be definitely true. It just gets a little bit complicated. But yeah, none of the articles I'm seeing coming out seem to indicate that they're in a good place right now. And I don't wish, especially because they have children, I wouldn't wish them, it's always good for families to stay together. But I also understand right now that there's a lot of stress on their lives. Spotify just dropped one of their people, Jamila Hill, I think is her name, because she told them that she wanted them to basically pay her as much as Joe Rogan. And they're like, no, you're not pulling in as much money as Joe Rogan is. So yeah, you're not getting that money. And they ended up dropping her instead. So, and Netflix is also reevaluating a lot of their deals. Streaming is slowing down. So I think there's a lot of things to worry about. And I think, again, they're still somewhat obsessed with their initial Mexit plan. And yeah, they're not going to get that. Allison, hi from NYC. Request you plan a Scotland trip next spring so I can go. Yes, I do want to do a Scotland trip. And initially I wanted to do it in the fall because I was going to do the Swedish Jubilee. And then I was going to do the Germany. I was originally going to be Scotland and Germany and Austria, but then it was taking them too much time to put that together. And then they suggested Ireland. I was like, well, I'd love to see Ireland, but the trip that they had essentially didn't fit with what I really wanted. So I'm like, no. So we went ahead and did Germany and Austria instead, which will be a really cool trip. It'll be in Salzburg. So if you love the sound of music, we go by there. It's pretty much all touring palaces and castles in like really great locations. If you've never seen Neuschwanstein, it is unbelievably beautiful. It is very unique and interesting, especially for being a palace. Well, it's castle. I mean, you call it a castle, but it looks like Disney's Cinderella castle, which was one of its inspirations. It has no functionality as a castle in the sense that a castle is a fortress, essentially, is what its purpose is. A palace is a place where people live. All right. Paula said, when Meghan first came on the scene before marrying Harry, I thought she was lovely and beautiful. Now all I see is a smug face. Yes, she needs to tone down the smugness because it comes across so much. And again, I think the hard thing with Harry and Meghan is that every time you see her, she just looks so stinking happy to be in front of the cameras. The palace was right. If you look like they annoy you, people will think you don't love it. But if you look like you love it every single time they're out, then it kind of feeds the narrative that you actually love the cameras and the spotlight. So Meghan's inconsistency on that, I think, is pretty huge. And again, the palace tried to tell her that, and she was like, she ignored them. And they're right. If I see celebrities and their faces down and they look frustrated and everything, well, I think you don't like the press attention. But if you're smiling and you're playing up to them, you're waving at them, I think you love it. And I think you kind of love the attention. And so I think that Meghan doesn't understand that is detrimental to her, because I think she can't help but smile when a camera's on her. And again, it doesn't have to be bad, but it just looks way too much like you are enjoying every second out of the paparazzi. And that just doesn't play very well. So Lizzie says, I was so happy for them both until I saw that engagement interview. Yeah, there was a lot of red flags there. I'll say, and I wish I had started my channel years ago, because it would have been so interesting to like identify and say, yes, I was one of the first to say this is a problem. But as soon as I saw her and her attention-seeking Instagram post, I knew she was going to be an issue, because she was going to be the wife of the Spare if she married Harry. And you just can't be the center of attention if you're married to the Spare. And that's just how all royal families work. And so when I saw that, I was like, yeah, no, because she was courting the press so much. She was courting the attention. She was trying to get everybody to catch on to the fact that she was dating Harry forever. She was really, really dedicated to everybody believing that she was, to people connecting her and Harry. She wanted the attention. And so, yeah, that's when way that went. And we have Trina co-star. Oh, hi, Trina, sipping on hot chocolate. You are the best host for the trip. My knee is a bit stronger with all the walking. Yay! Hi, Trina. I'm so glad you're doing well. Yes, we had a day where we walked from, well, we started at the Tower of London, and then we had lunch, and then we walked to St. Paul's, and then we took the train over to Kensington Palace. Trina did absolutely fantastic, and so many others did as well. But it was just so fun. So hi, Trina. I'm glad you're enjoying your Whittards, because yes, I know a couple of people did their Whittards run, and I had to do mine as well on the last day. It's amazing my bag made it home without breaking, because I actually had both honey and jam in there too. I actually went to high tea at the Goring Hotel, which was great fun with my mom. It was a birthday / Mother's Day present, and it was so fun. And they gave us actually coronation jam, so I took that home. So yeah, Trina, glad you made it back home, and glad your knee is stronger. And then good morning, Joe McKinley, as well. Thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so sweet. Thank you. And then we have Belle Morris. Hello. Good afternoon from Wales. More Princess B, please. I just watched your fashion video for the Jordan wedding. Wonderful stuff, Brittany, Catherine, and B Hart. Yes, Catherine, Beatrice, she looked fantastic, I think. I loved both of her looks. I thought she looked great. I thought she looked very regal. And I'm planning on doing a video, and I'll probably get to it today, but still have boxes everywhere. It was good. I actually unloaded some of my book boxes last night, but I need more bookshelves, so I have to figure that out. But I think Beatrice, as Charles said, should so elevate her to a working royal role. I think she would be a fantastic working royal. So I'm really hoping that we see her. And so, all right. And let's get down here too. So Sue says, any thoughts on the rumor Harry and Meghan are producing a Diana documentary? Oh gosh. I would think that Diana documentary is like more fantasy than reality. They don't live in reality. Oh, I should pull down the other picture, although she looks fantastic. Harry and Meghan don't live in reality anymore. They've taken they're still denying themselves a red pill or whatever it is in the Matrix, and they're still living in their delusional fantasies. Harry doesn't have any grasp, I think, of who Diana really was in the same way that William does. He believes, so he'd basically be repeating the media narratives we've seen time and time again. And so I just, I don't think it would be great. And yeah, that would be terrible, but it wouldn't surprise me either. They supposedly want to get behind the camera and do the behind the scenes stuff. I was like, you guys should have been doing that from the beginning instead of doing all this other stuff. What really worries me a bit is the possibility of Harry optioning his book into either a series or a movie or something. But I also have a feeling that would be absolutely terrible. And say hello to Pippa, everyone. She doesn't have that many places to lay. And so she's kind of trying, I don't have all my furniture here yet. So she's kind of missing nice spots to lay down because she likes fluffy places. Who can blame her? Fluffy is nice, but she has a bed and she has even an UGG blanket on there that I kind of gave to her after she broke her elbow. I felt so bad. I was like, well, I'll give you this really nice comfy blanket. And then I was like, okay, it can be yours. Because it's like, even though it's mine and I wanted it, it's yours. I'll give it to you. Oh, TTB. All I wanted to say is I missed my Royal News Network Saturday morning. Love your content, Brittany. Thank you. Yeah, I should have thought it just wouldn't have worked because we were actually traveling on the Saturday morning, but it would have been fun to actually do a live stream with part of the tour group in person and then part of it on and part of it with live with you guys talking too. I think that would be so fun. I may try to plan that out for next time because I think I'll do a UK trip probably about every year and hopefully add Scotland and maybe a couple other places. I wanted to go hopefully one time to France as well because they have obviously Versailles is incredible and so is the Louvre. And the Louvre is interesting too because we know it as a museum, but it is actually a former palace. So you get some of that palace architecture there too. Oh, Wendy Little, thank you so much for the tip. You are so sweet. All right, so we have Rensky. Brittany, I'm so curious about these invisible children. What are your theories on why they're hidden so much? Do you hear anything out there in the U.S. about them? So here's the thing. I think the children are real. I think the children are real. I think they exist. I think they're there. Why don't we see them? Because Harry and Meghan are weird. They're just weird people, and they think somehow this benefits them and their kids in the future. It doesn't. I think they're thinking more, Meghan at least is thinking more ka-ching. Kind of like there was the first pictures of Surrey, the first official pictures in Vanity Fair of Surrey. I don't remember if Katie Holmes and Tom Cruise were given an actual monetary amount for that, but it was a huge thing at the time. I remember it being a massive thing to see the first pictures of Surrey officially. But she was still a baby. She was like 6 months, 5-6 months. And so it kind of worked because you're like, okay, there's the baby. We finally see she does exist. But Harry and Meghan have done everything wrong. They've played the children card in the utterly wrong way because what you don't do is talk about your children constantly, then never show them to anybody and then get mad one day when they pull the titles and everybody doesn't care. And people were more annoyed that they gave their kids the royal titles than if they didn't have them. So it's just dumb because they're not smart people in this way. And obviously, as well, it's fueled a lot of rumors about surrogacy. I think there's a couple things I think dominate this. One is maybe they do actually care about their kids' privacy. I don't think that's really the case. I don't think they really care. But that could be some of it, at least more on Harry's end. When it comes to Meghan, I think number one, she always thinks monetary amount. So she thinks her kids, to a certain extent, have a financial benefit if she keeps them secret and then reveals them, quote unquote, at an opportune time. I think they've overplayed this. I think they played this all wrong. And so I think that whole theory doesn't hold. But I understand some of it from where it is. The other big thing I think it is that Meghan doesn't want anybody competing for attention from her. If they showed their kids a lot, wouldn't you know it? The kids would actually be probably more popular than the parents because kids are cute. And I don't think she wants anybody competing with her there either. The other thing to consider is that the kids are not well behaved. And the Harry and Meghan know this and know that they rely on their nannies so much that to bring their kids out in public and have very public events with them, their kids would be screaming on a sidewalk and they wouldn't know what to do. That's the other possibility. So I think it's a couple things, but I think it's mostly just lunacy and idiocy on their part. They played this game so incredibly badly because they needed to connect their kids to the public, especially for those titles to hold. Nobody cares about their kids really because we don't see them. And so we don't have that connection with them like we do to the whales as kids. We haven't seen them be kids. We haven't seen them do different things. So this idea that Harry and Meghan think that the world will go, oh, poor Archie and Lily, Charles or William pulled their titles. I think most people will go, it makes sense. So again, they're not the brightest people. So I think the guy was so right when he said they've done literally everything wrong. And I think they've literally done everything possibly they could to do the wrong thing. Every time they should choose option A, they choose option D, and it always goes really badly. Taking a quick sip. Oh, Witter's hot chocolate. So good. Oh, Sand, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind. I really do appreciate it. All right, so we'll keep going down here. Rosemary said, good morning, Brittany. So looking forward to this live. Yay, I'm so glad. You got this video up soon and congrats on the views. Thank you. Yeah, it was a weird moment too because I was trying to use Safari and Safari didn't work for uploading. So I had to jump over to Chrome and I was really, really irritated because I was really worried. I worked so hard on that video and then it wasn't going to post. And I was like, no, but did. So it did really well. Maybe it'll hit 1 million while we're talking. And if we will, I'll double check at the end and see if it did. All right. Kathy Evans, I was happy to see you getting recognized for citing the Middleton family at Royal Wedding by According to Task. Yes. Thank you. She was so sweet to do that because at first, so I think the first person, or at least one of the first, but definitely the first, you could say, to have a decent following and spot them. Carol and Middleton in the crowd at the Jordanian royal reception. I happened because I had been watching it all morning. I'd been screenshotting and been posting. So it was actually probably at like 12:30 in the afternoon. It's like I had to shower at that point because I wanted to do a video. My hair was starting to look bad. And I had gotten out and I was looking back and I was like, oh, they're doing more stuff again. And they were coming into the reception and I was like desperately looking for tiaras because I was trying to figure out, okay, when is this tiara event going to happen? So I was looking in the crowd for the royals and I was like looking and I was going, wait, is that Carol Middleton? And wouldn't you know what it was? It was Carol Middleton, Carol, Pippa, and James. So that was just a lucky spot on my part. And yeah, it was crazy though, but it was annoying because the Daily Mail, posted responses to my initial tweet, but did not give me initial credit for citing them. And so I was a little frustrated by that because it's like, well, you post the responses to my tweet, but not my actual tweet saying I spotted them. So it was nice though. The Daily Mail did go back and actually put in a screenshot of my initial tweet in, which I appreciated. And yeah, so it was so sweet of her to do that as well. And it was just super exciting. So and Jessica Reed, thank you so much for the super sticker as well. You are so kind. I do appreciate it. And now I need to look and try to remember. I remember all the first names. I had a Jessica on the trip. So if you were on the trip and I don't remember, I'm so sorry. And we have Army as well. Thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind. I do appreciate it. Okay, sorry guys. I got to double check something here real quick. All right. And so let's get back though to all the posts. Okay. So any updates on, so Asma asked any updates on the Samantha Markle lawsuit? Not really. I just don't really think that's going to go anywhere. Sorry to say that. I know some people are really looking forward to that. I just don't think it's going to get anywhere. I don't. It's just one of those things that it's like, but yeah, so it's just not going to get anywhere. And I know for some people that is super disappointing, but there's just not a bunch of there, if that makes sense. So I think so it's a bit disappointing, but it's not going to be the lawsuit that sinks Harry and Meghan. It's going to be themselves with the stupid paparazzi stuff. We just need 2 more of those, and they'll just be cratering off the cliff in terms of popularity. Louise, hello, Brittany. Are you going to cover the Norwegian state visit to Denmark in 2 weeks? Tiara's coming. Yes. So if everybody really liked that, because clearly people did, I will do more videos on that. But I guess it depends on how big it ends up being. I'm kind of bummed because I was actually initially going to be in Europe when that was happening, but I'm looking at my place right now, which is full of boxes and things need to go places and have furniture. So I couldn't leave it for too long. And I wanted to go there and cover it in person, but I was like, no, I can't. But yeah, I will definitely be covered, definitely be watching out. Just the different thing about a wedding is that there's just so many tiaras. It's not just a smaller state visit. It's so many tiaras. And so in that way, it's rather different. And so there's just more to cover and a lot more people to see. So I think that's really different. So we will, and it may be lumped into the best and worst videos I usually do, but we shall see. Oh, Sharon said the Brittany the fashion video is fabulous. Thank you. I worked really hard on that. It took me like a couple hours to get all the clips together, and oh my gosh, it just takes so long, guys. Yeah, it takes weirdly long, longer than you might think, but it was so exciting to do. And Beatrice was such a sweet surprise. She looked fabulous. I think she did great. Oh, yeah. And I got a couple. Deborah R. and Sassy all said yes. According to Taz, gave a shout out. Yes, thank you. It was fun. And hi, Brittany and Pippa. I hope you and Taz can have a live stream together. Yeah, I'd like to do that sometime. I think that would be a lot of fun. And it would just be kind of interesting. I have an idea in my mind based on some other different shows that cover completely different subjects than mine do, that I think would be kind of fun to hang out. Louis says, everyone is talking as if Archie and Lily exist, but there's a chance of them not existing. But there is a chance of them not existing. No, I don't think that's true. I see that so much more now. And again, I just think Harry and Meghan are playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes in this instance, which is that people don't think their children exist because they've been so weirdly cagey about them. And again, it doesn't play well for them at all. But yeah, I think it's totally, and I think the kids totally exist. It's just one of those things where they just have been, again, and if they want the people to care about their children, we need to actually see your children. That this idea somehow escapes Harry and Meghan is just a mystery to me. Asma says, do you think Em will be upset if Eugenie gives birth tomorrow? I mean, you give birth when you give birth. It's not something you can control. But Meghan's petty, so probably. Jane Bryan says, I'm so cross because I had a dress so similar to Catherine's pink one in the 1970s. I wish I'd never thrown it away. It was less Jenny Packham, more Chelsea girl, of course. Oh, that would have been so fun. There's actually a vintage store in the town where I'm living, and they actually had some decent stuff. It was some pretty cool stuff. So I was like, oh, so yeah, that would have been really, really cool, because fashion is cyclical. And if you are somebody who's a true fashionista, I don't think personally follow the trends too much. Okay. Yeah, so Deborah asked, did you hear the new rumor of Harry and Meghan are thinking of going back to the UK? Yes, I did a video on that. I think it's somewhat true because they have nothing else. Becky says, Catherine looked lovely, but I was wondering why she wore her hair down. I think it was just different. I appreciate that. You can do it. You can put your hair down, put your hair up. It all depends. And I think she looks really good with her hair down in a tiara. I think she looks great. Brittany, it's good to see you. How was London? I hope you liked it. Oh, I've been to London so many times. I loved it. And it was fun too, because I saw Charles and Princess Eugenie. That was both a pleasant surprise and just completely and utterly random. So we actually saw a helicopter land on Palace property at Kensington Palace. And so I ran over there to see it. And I ran, and I was like huffing and puffing. You can hear it in the video, I think, because I left my huffing and puffing in there, because it was pretty far away. You had to get around the orangery, and you had to keep going down. And so I was like, at the end of the day, so Trina can attest, like, you're starting to get tired. You're on your feet all day because you're standing, watching the places you're walking around and everything. So my legs were just like, at the beginning of the day, I would have done much better. At the end of the day, though, my feet were just killing me a bit. But we did see Eugenie. Well, I saw her through a camera, technically. I took pictures of a person in a corner, and I was like, well, who is that? Let me see. And I saw later, and it was Eugenie, so that was fun. Hi, morning, Brittany. With Harry's admitting drug use, why hasn't Child Protective Services investigated the welfare of the children? I don't think it rises to that occasion, so I can see why they didn't. But, yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. Risha asks, who are some of the other monarchs that are interesting to learn about? So I guess it depends on what you find interesting. Like in modern monarchs, it is interesting to see what's happened with Spain and Juan Carlos and his scandals leading to his abdication. And then you have King Philippe stepping in. So that's kind of an interesting thing going on there in Spain. You also have in Belgium, you had something similar. So there was the king had an illegitimate daughter who sued to get her princess title and won it. And so because of that, the king ended up abdicating. He actually still is alive. So he is there, and now Philippe is ruling the country. Well, not really ruling the country, but he is head of the royal family. So that's just kind of an interesting dynamic. There's also King Leopold's Ghost. I just pulled out that book. It's about how Belgians in the Congo, they did some really horrific things to try to get the native people to grab rubber for them. So they were just really horrific in that way. And so I haven't read it, but it's been a huge book forever. And so I've always wanted to learn a bit more about that. And then you have like modern now, Carl Gustaf, who's celebrating his 50 years on the throne. Queen Marguerite of Denmark is very interesting. And then you have just all the intrigue of, I think, of Monaco is a pretty interesting country. And you obviously have the other big country, I guess you could say, is the Netherlands, which I think is somewhat not steeped in quite as much controversy. But there was a bit when the king married Maxima, because Maxima's father was part of the Argentinian government during, and I don't think I'll pronounce it right, but during the kind of repressive communist period of the country. And so there were a lot of questions. He wasn't allowed to attend their wedding. And in just his story, I think definitely who is really interesting to me and intriguing to me right now is Eleanor of Aquitaine and her husband, Henry II. They are an interesting couple because she was actually 10 years older than him. She actually divorced King Louis of France and married Henry. And they had 8 children. 3 of them, well, 2 of them were technically kings. One of them was kind of sort of a king before he died. And they are just really interesting. I was reading a book talking about Henry, how he was just a really, really brilliant guy. And he was able to amass all this territory that all his children successfully lost. And so he was just a really intellectual figure in a lot of ways. I think very smart, very adept, couldn't sit around still. And then you had Eleanor, who was equally, I think, his match in a lot of ways, and very intelligent for her time and very well traveled at the time as well, because she had actually gone on a crusade. And then you have just obviously Henry VIII, but everybody talks about Henry VIII. I kind of want to learn more about the Oliver Cromwell period, the Civil Wars, because I don't know much about that, because we went through the Cotswolds and they mentioned that quite a bit. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of interesting things. So much. I want to learn so much. And then I don't get the time. This is all just also books that are not related to royals. I actually have 2 bookshelves. You can only see one. So I need more to do. Martin says, thank you so much for the tip as well. I'm enjoying your royal commentary today. It's so good. Have you also seen any rumors about the Prince and Princess of Wales' possible visit to Australia? And also, have you had the Catherine selfie framed yet? Oh my goodness. So I will say, first off, I haven't had time to even think about getting the Catherine picture framed yet, but I would love to. I think that would be super fantastic. And I'll probably, somebody gifted me the Getty images. And so I make it the comparisons, because I think it's cool. Again, so cool to have the selfie picture itself and then a picture of me and Catherine taking the selfie. I just, that thrills me to death. I think that's so fun. And I did get like 6 copies of the Daily Express that had my selfie in it. So, just for fun. And the possible visit to Australia. We've heard, I was thinking they would do it this year, but with them going to Singapore for the Earthshot Prize, I just don't think they'll tack on Australia to that as well. That would be a massively long trip. And they generally don't do that, especially with their kids being school and stuff. But I think Australia is in the offing next year. I think early next year, maybe in the springtime. So about Easter time, like they did several years ago. I think that would be when they would do it. I was planning on it and just super excited about going to Australia this year, because I was thinking that they would be going to Australia this year. Nope, going to Singapore instead. I'm thinking strongly about going to Singapore, yet at the same time, it's a long flight. It's a really, really long flight. My preferred carrier had it being like 30 hours of travel time. That is a long, long time. Is it possible? Yeah. Will it be tough? Oh, yes. Would it be fun and interesting? Yeah, I think it would be fun and interesting too. I haven't been to Singapore, so. And I thought too would be an opportunity to go to, I was in Seoul, South Korea once, and I missed the opening by the palace by like 5 minutes. So it's always been my like goal to go back and just tour the palace because I missed it. I was like, oh, I could tack on 24 hours because a lot of those flights go through Seoul. And I was like, well, maybe I can finally do that. Oh man, I'm so behind. Okay. Jensen says, how long do you think Harry and Meghan's silence privacy wish will last this time? Probably not very long because they'll violate it themselves. Yeah. Hi, Brittany and everyone. Liz M says, didn't see Prince Albert at the wedding. Hi from Guatemala. Yeah, we were missing the royals from Monaco for sure here. Obviously, I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes with Albert and Charlene. And they had the Monaco Grand Prix basically last week. So they had there was like a huge event where all the royals piled in various vintage cars and came in. So I think there was just a lot going on in Monaco and just not an opportunity to send somebody. If Albert didn't go, he would probably have sent Caroline. I don't think Stephanie really does anything anymore. I've never seen her go to a foreign royal event, so I don't think they would have sent her to Jordan. So unfortunately, those were really the only two options the King has right now. Janice says, can you imagine the chaos if the British royal family chose the heir? Harry would be more out of his mind than he already is. Yeah, and it's an interesting dynamic, I think. I can see where it has some benefits in some ways, but can also incite competition and rivalries and things that don't exist. Because, like I said, Sheikh Samoza, her son is Emir. She was the second wife. So there's older sons than her son, and her son was chosen. So she's been very much the preferred consort because she goes to all the big events pretty much. So I imagine that there's some resentment there in some cases, because how could there not be? How could there not be? But Risha says, do you think it's deflection from their NYC trip? Yes, I think anything to defer the NYC trip is their goal right now. So they may celebrate Lily's birthday just because they need to deflect and remind people, we have children. Aren't our children cute? We have children. Don't forget, we have children. We have children. We're parents. That's would ring to me true. But we'll see if they do that or not. So Christine says, good afternoon from sunny UK. In regards to Miss Pippa for my fur baby Lily. Oh, Miss Pippa says hi. She's sleeping though. She's in her bed. Robin says, why do you think they are so peculiar about their children? I think I explained it a little bit, just kind of, again, competition for attention in regards to Meghan. Can they not control their children? And they're thinking at some point they'll get a bigger payday if they keep their kids secret, which again, I don't think is playing well for them at all. Kathleen says, hi, Brittany. So happy you were able to watch live again. So excited for you with your success on both channels. So well deserved. Why, thank you. Yes, it's been so fun. I was not expecting, I was hoping the fashion video would do well, but doing as well as it has done is not is surprising. Yeah, it's at 977,000 views. So I think by the end it'll hit 1 million, because the first time I told you guys it was 930. So yeah, it's doing really well. Hi, Brittany. So this is Abby. So I'm so excited I finally caught a live. Well done on your coronation coverage, meeting Catherine and spotting the Middletons at the Jordanian wedding. Thank you. Again, that was just a really, really lucky surprise. I guess I have this weird knack for spotting people, because I actually spotted staff members of Catherine and Williams getting off the train ahead of us at Kensington Palace. And so I was just super stoked. But they went to the left, which is towards the coffee shop. So I was kind of confused. But I think that was because the helicopter landed later, and I think they were getting something before the boss came in. So anyways, but I guess, I don't know. Sometimes I'm worried, like, am I a weird stalker person? I don't know. I hope not. I hope not. Divane Villegas. Oh, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so kind. I really do appreciate it. And sorry if I didn't pronounce your name well. I'm not always good at that. Oh. Oh, Nat says the bride kept looking at Maxima's cleavage as they greeted one another. I wonder if she knew the customs. Yeah, I don't think that was the most appropriate dress for Maxima. It had a little bit of a V-neck, and that's not really appropriate there. But hey, it's just kind of funny. So I don't think perhaps she was particularly looking at it, but Maxima is tall. And I mean, Rajwa is tall too, but I think Crown Prince Hussein is pretty short as well. And so she looks kind of tall by comparison, but Maxima is very tall and she tends to wear very tall heels too. Allison says, hello. I think Harry should spend a few weeks in the summer in the UK with his kids. They can get to know family and start to repair some relationships. Absolutely. That is the healthy and appropriate thing to do. So, but will he do it? Probably not. Probably not, because he's not really in a healthy world right now, I don't think. Josie says, this royal wedding showed how close all the royal families are. Harry and Meghan will never be welcomed by them. Plus, politicians fight to be among the royals. Proves Harry's shot his toe off. Yes. The royal families are close. They are, because again, there is, like if you are a super A-list celebrity, because you have to live your life so publicly, you value your privacy and relationships so much more, especially those that you trust, because otherwise you would not really live your life out loud, but your life would be so consumable to people that you need to have that bit of separation. And so, yeah, I think Harry really misstepped here. And he has lost the favor of his aristocratic friends as well, who also operate in a similar way. There are circles of friendships and relationships, and that they are close and they value each other's privacy. So they don't blab if somebody does X, Y, and Z at a club or at an event or at a dinner or something like that. They generally don't, unless it becomes something that's a super huge issue, perhaps. But they keep their confidences. And because we don't know everything that goes on in a major Hollywood party, we have no idea. Why? Because people don't talk. Harry and Meghan talk. That's all they have. That's the only currency they have, apparently, is talking. You know, you could say the Kardashians are talentless, and to a certain extent, they somewhat are, but they've managed to both keep confidences in a way and yet live their life publicly in a way that has made them extraordinarily successful. And Harry and Meghan just crash and burn every turn. It's really bad. Linda says, will Harry and Meghan ever change? I think Harry can change. Meghan cannot, though. I think she's wanted this way too much and she's super obsessed with it. So, and Noble says, weren't Harry and Meghan doing an apology tour? What happened with that? Well, apparently, yes, this year at some point, they're going to be doing an apology tour. When, how, if, nobody has any idea. It's saying from a good source, this is from Maureen, that Harry and Meghan are coming back to the UK. I think, well, they may come back for trooping because they want their kids on the balcony. And again, they need to reestablish that royal connection. So I think they would be willing to go to the Trooping the Color because they could be on the balcony, which would prove that the only reason they did not go to the coronation is because they weren't going to be on the balcony. And again, I'm a little disappointed I'm missing Trooping this year. But next year, I think, again, there's so much going on in these sort of early summer months that next year, I think I'll plan to have, because I think you can stay about 90 days in the UK or in Europe before traveling home. So I may do a longer trip there, hopefully with a little puppy with me. And hopefully she would enjoy that. She'd be very curious about everything and all the different and new smells and all the different and, well, probably not super new animals, but she would have fun. She'd think it's interesting. Risha says, what is your favorite castle to visit? Oh, it's been so long for some places because I've been a lot of places and I've seen a lot of castles. I do love Hampton Court. It's a palace, but I do love Hampton Court. I love the red brick of it. And then I do love as well Versailles. Versailles is incredible. It's not a castle technically, but it is an incredible place to visit. And it is really, really cool. And castles, I can't think of a particular one. I do love like castle ruins like they have up in Scotland, right on Loch Ness. If you do the tour, it starts with a U and I can't remember the castle name, but it's half ruined. And I always think those are kind of cool because you can kind of walk around in it and get a real feel for the time period. You can obviously walk around Windsor Castle as well, but Windsor has been very much updated. So it doesn't have that castle, that more ancient feel, because some of the first foundations for that were laid in 1066. So it is very, very old. And it is a castle in a way where you see the wall around it. So the church, St. George's, I believe, is church in there where Harry and Meghan got married and Princess Eugenie got married and where part of the Queen's funeral was held, what is staged within the walls of the castle, because the castle, there's usually a series of rings around the castle, because if one wall is breached, well, you got the second, you got the third, and then you have like whatever the final keep is. So that is kind of interesting. So Anyways, M says, good morning. Thoughts on Catherine and William's future with Beatrice? I don't trust her. What do you think about the relationship in the future? I think their relationship could be good. I think they could get there. And I don't think their relationship is necessarily bad. I just have heard before that William wasn't as close to the Yorks as Harry was. That's always been somewhat the case. They're closer in age. And William, I think, was closer, which we've seen with Zara and Peter, who are more his age. So I think some of it's just age. Some of it's just the moment and stuff. But I think Beatrice has a immense and deep respect for the United Kingdom, for the role her family plays. And so I think that is a huge factor and why I would say she would be a great representative. Oh, Karen, thank you so much for the super sticker for the tip. You are so kind. I do appreciate it. Kim says, hi, Brittany. Do you think the U.S. will revoke Harry's visa? No, probably not. Never say never, but I just don't think so. Again, it's an interesting case. I may go up and watch it in person because it's close enough for me where I can do that. But yeah, I still have questions. Nancy says, hi from Australia. Do you think the palace organized for Beatrice to go to the wedding as a start for her to step into more royal duties? My understanding was it was a personal invitation, so I don't necessarily think so. But would she make a great working royal? Yeah, I think she would. I think she would. Risha says, do you think Hollywood is tiring of their PR stunts? Yes, I think they are. Nobody really likes it. Everybody sees through it. I mean, again, the New York situation was so incredibly stupid because everybody's like, you can only go like 3 miles an hour in New York. What are you talking about? It just sounded dumb. So, and the more that comes out, the more it seems like Harry and Meghan are at fault there. So I don't think that's great. Linda says, you have a celebrity follower, Aled Jones. He is saying the soundtrack for Snowman Walking in the Air. Oh, I didn't know that. I had no idea. Well, thank you, Aled Jones. I'll have to look that up. I'm not sure who that is, but that's super exciting though. What do you think about Archie asking for King Charles, his grandfather, and not Thomas? Well, I don't think we know anything for sure in that instance, but Charles is much more public than you could say Thomas is. And I'm sure they talk about Charles and they don't talk about Thomas because, again, Meghan would have to admit that some of her childhood is not the squeaky clean or the struggle that Meghan portrayed it to Harry that it was. And in fact, she actually had a pretty decent childhood. And most of that was thanks to her very active father. Lily says when the Wales' children are extremely well behaved yet still children. Yes. And I think again that plays and that clear reflection I think is so good. It's really, really good to see that. And so I think Catherine and William are doing a fantastic job there. Raya says, hi, Brittany. I didn't see the Moroccan royals at the wedding in Jordan. Do you have any idea why they were not there? Yes, I didn't see them either. It could have been perhaps the king has his young son, who I think is an adult, is the age of majority now. I think he might be. He could have gone, but obviously who used to go to all these was the King of Morocco's wife, Lala Salma. She used to go. She had bright red curly hair, and she usually wore a more traditional outfit, and she always looked great. I think she always looked fabulous. But they got divorced, or that's the rumor anyways, because I remember looking into it and I was kind of like, well, she's not around anymore, but they didn't like officially get divorced. So I don't know what the situation is exactly, but she has not been seen in a long time. So I mean, I'm sure she's fine, but I don't think they're together anymore. So she would have been the one to have gone to that event, like Sheikh Samoza went to the event on behalf of Qatar. Abby H says, I agree with you, Brittany. I think the kids are really badly behaved, spoiled by nannies, no manners, and probably with behavioral issues. I think that could be the case. I don't know. But yeah, definitely an option. Joanna, hi, Brittany, greetings from Indonesia. I really like your content's main channel here and the fashion one. Thank you. I really enjoy both of them. And yeah, let's see. Where's the fashion video at? Because I looked earlier. 993,000, y'all. 7 more and we'll hit 1 million. First video ever to hit 1 million, which is crazy to think about. And I wouldn't have thought it would have been the Jordanian royal wedding that would do that. Didn't think so. but that's super exciting. Yay. Kimberly says, hi, Brittany. Any updates on Princess Eugenie's baby? No. And we may not learn for a couple of days after he's born. That seems to be generally what happens because Beatrice and Eugenie, although they are members of the royal family, they aren't working members. And so their births aren't covered quite as extensively because of that. And they don't have the same constitutional, I think, requirements in that way. So we will see him or her. We'll probably hear soon. I will say, though, last week on Friday, Eugenie was definitely still pregnant because I got the pictures of it at Kensington Palace. I mean, the Daily Mail got other pictures of them walking around Chelsea or something, but I saw them at Kensington. So she was definitely there and she was definitely still pregnant. So that was super exciting. So Rebecca says, Netflix canceled The Hearts of Invictus. I feel so bad for the veterans. I haven't seen that officially come through yet. I'd have to look because there was somebody who was saying, oh, Harry and Meghan have been dropped from Netflix. I was like, I won't believe that until I see it in Variety or Deadline or something that they've been officially dropped or official release from Netflix. Because I think people sometimes want to manifest things. So they're like, oh, we'll just say it. It'll come true. I don't think that'll be necessarily the case. So we shall see if that is what happens. But if it is, I feel sorry for the veterans, but also Harry and Meghan, man, this is all on them. Louise Anderson, one more thing. I have previously said your favorite royal is Queen Maxima, but which RF is actually your favorite? Mine has become the Norwegians in the latter years. I think generally overall, I think I tend to like the Swedes because they do a lot of tiara events. They seem to really enjoy each other's company. They have Princess Madeline, who I think is gorgeous, and Crown Princess Victoria. She is a workhorse, man. She does so much for her country. And I think she really does love her country too. Not that all royals don't, but I think she just does really love it. So she's super exciting. So yeah, I would think the Swedes overall. I do love the Brits though, but the Brits everybody likes the Brits. Everybody watches the Brits. So it's just kind of fun to have other royal families. Oh, and Monaco. Monaco would be my other. Love Beatrice Borromeo. I think her style is gorgeous, although I did not like one of her recent outfits. And we have Charlotte Katsaragi and obviously Princess Caroline and everything. So lots of royals there and lots of interesting and tragic history in a lot of ways. So yeah. Johanna says it's kind of weird how two children from Harry and Meghan all resemble Harry, but nothing like Meghan. Sometimes that happens, especially when the kids are younger and they grow into their looks and they change a bit more. People used to tell me all the time when I was a kid, I looked like my dad, but now as an adult, I am the spitting image of my mother. Like exactly like if you've been on the trip, my mom was on the trip. We look a lot alike. And then when it comes to like my sister, people used to tell her she looked like my mom, but when we look at pictures of my dad as a child, they look exactly like they really look alike. So Pia says, good morning, Brittany. Loved your video review of the wedding. Did you hear Lady C said Harry went a few months ago to a divorce lawyer? Well, I mean, it could be true. I don't know if I would go there quite yet. He's a bit, again, obsessed with Meghan, so I don't know if they're quite there yet. But if he's thinking about the future, I wouldn't be surprised. Royal expert degree says Catherine got told to hurry up while talking to the bride. It was so funny. Willie got her under his thumb. How cool. Well, I don't think that's cool, but what I loved is that William told her, gave her the hurry up thing and she ignored him. She totally ignored him. And I think that is so indicative of a real couple. He's like, come on, hurry up. And she's like, oh, honey, I'm fine. Just give me a minute. And that I think was a great thing to see, because I think it would be more worrying if she was like, oh, okay, I gotta do it now. And she might have done that earlier in their marriage just because she was so concerned about doing the right thing and everything. But this time she's like, I'm talking to the bride, honey, I'm fine. We'll catch up. We'll be done here in a minute. Don't worry. We'll be good. Just stay right there. And I think William, of course, and Catherine are aware that when they're there with somebody, more attention is on the couple because of them. So William is very aware of that. But I just thought it was funny that William was like, and she's like, no, I'm going to keep talking because the bride's here. The bride looks gorgeous and we're going to chit chat here, honey. So I love that. All right, guys. Yes, officially 1 million views on my best and worst dress fashion video for the Jordanian wedding. Woohoo! Okay, sorry. I had to shout that out real quick. That is super cool. I've never hit 1 million before. So yay! It's fun to see that little 1 million mark. So That's wild. That's really wild. And it's been up, guys, for 15 hours and 53 minutes. 15 hours and 53 minutes. So, wow. I love this, Kelly, running after a helicopter like a war correspondent. Yes. Oh my gosh. It was in my mind. I think it's like so lame in some ways, but also I'm like, but I wanted to get the picture. Because I'd seen the pictures and I'm like, I would kick myself if I got there and it was all the whales as kids getting out of the helicopter and I didn't get to see them. I would just kick myself in the behind. So I ran. So yeah. Can you ever speak without complaining? It seems you got a grip problem with everything. Maybe that's why you ain't got a husband or children. Oh, well, that's kind of rude. But no, I'm not really complaining. It's commentating. That's what it is. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Let's see. So, we'll go ahead. Ooh, they've got new things. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. We'll go down here. Sharon, plans to turn your dissertation into a book. Yes. So that's basically the idea, is to put it into a book. So I would hope to do that. And I'd hope to write more in general about just history and everything. So I'm hoping to do that at some point when I figure out how to organize the channel sometimes a little bit better. So I'm not doing it. So I'm not doing so much on the channel. So like doing all the editing and everything, because that can be really time consuming. But I have a really fast turnaround time, which is different than some other channels, which can say, hey, I can give you a video and you can have 3 or 4 days to edit it and get it together. No, my stuff needs to go quickly to hit the news cycle. So anyways, all right, Babs, Eleanor of Aquitaine was a stupendous woman, and sure, you blitzed your assignment. Yeah, I did pretty well on it, but I didn't get everything perfect because I didn't get enough time. But I did write pretty much all of the last day. So that's not what I wanted to do. But with the channel and life and everything, sometimes life is hard. Miss Terry says, do you really think there's a chance Meghan would go back to the UK? I don't think so. I don't think she really wants to. Okay. So let's go down here. Renee says, hi, Brittany. Nice to see you. Missed you. Do you know what the curtsy protocol is for all these royals? Who curtsies to whom? So I know some of this, but some of this, again, is somewhat dependent on the country and everything. So, but if in regards to the king and queen, if you are not a king and queen yourself, you do not curtsy. So Catherine and William obviously curtsied to the king and queen of Jordan. So did Crown Princess Victoria, Crown Princess Mary, on and on down the line. It would not be the case. I didn't see, but they didn't really focus on her in the video. If like someone like Sheikh Moza, if she curtsied to the queen or not, because Emir is a similar level, but her husband is a former Emir. But because he is, and that's considered at the same level, somewhat of a king, I don't think she probably would have curtsied. Juan Carlos and Queen Sofia, I believe, of Spain, who are no longer officially king and queen, they are former. I don't believe from what I remember, I don't think she curtsied to him because they were at the same level. So now I'm thinking through some of the people who were kind of lower and would be kind of interesting to consider. So in the case of, what's his name? Ooh, Crown Prince Pavlos of Greece, who might be heredity Crown Prince Pavlos now, because his father has passed away. So he is not king, but he can't be king because there is no kingdom to inherit anymore. So did he bow to the king and queen, or did he not? I would imagine he did, but I'm not entirely sure either. So it's just one of those things. And obviously as well, if you're an American like me, if I went, I would have considered curtsying to Her Majesty the Queen, just in honor of her dedication to and her years and years of service to the United Kingdom and the world in general. I think, but when it comes to the rest of the royals, no, because I'm not British. So I'm not going to curtsy to you. Sorry. But technically too, if you meet someone and if you are a British citizen and you meet a royal, technically you should curtsy, but I think they're not holding fast and true to that anymore. So, all right. Oh, Sharon C., thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so sweet. We also have Nicole. Jordan wedding was stunning. Love the tiaras. I can't help comparing this to Casey's coronation. Love your channel, XXOO. Thank you. Yes, I think Charles missed the mark there on not having a tiara event. I really, really do. He needed to have a tiara event because the grandeur of the Jordanian wedding somewhat eclipses in little ways the coronation, just in terms of glamour. There just wasn't much glamour in the British court. I mean, there was and there wasn't, if you get my drift, just not in the same way because we didn't have a big tiara event. So that's what this made me sad. Oh, Armoetta Porter, thank you so much for the super sticker. That is so sweet of you. I really do appreciate it. You are so kind. I love all the support I get on the channel is amazing, guys. I so appreciate it. It makes this so much fun to do and so exciting. Lori Ann says, do we have mods here? I do it for the most part, and I tried to block a particular person, but for some reason it was like not letting me do it. So, and I would have to refresh, and then we maybe lose the channel or something. So let's not do that. Alec Jones makes the rounds on all channels. He is a mega sugar. Aw. Janice says, Brittany, you're so good at spotting people and figuring out likely outcomes to situations that you should be a spy. Well, I thought about joining the CIA at some point. I really, really did. I just have one of those minds that's very, like, I guess, strategic. Like, even when I'm driving, I think of different, what other people could do on the road, what I could do on the road, trying to see problems ahead. It's just like wired in there. It wasn't something I was really taught. And so I was just, there looking for people in the crowd because I'm like, I want to see where's the royal. And I'm like, that looks like Carol Middleton. I was like, quickly grabbed a screenshot. And so it was just, again, a lucky catch because really they would have been unbelievably hard to see in that group shot. I mean, it's a big group shot. It just happened to be, it's like, that looked like Carol Middleton. So, you know, because you're looking for a familiar face and hers popped out. Poppy says, Brittany, where do you stand on the divorce rumors? That's a good question. So I think all the articles I've seen recently don't paint a good picture of where they're at. It seems like Meghan's doing her own thing and Harry's doing his own thing. And while that would have been okay, I mean, couples do that, of course. But when a couple has made very, very public statements of like, we're like salt and pepper. We have matching thrones in our office so we can sit there, and we love sharing our office because we love being together and we're so attached and yada, 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 yada. So when it comes to a point where all of a sudden you're not doing those things because it was juvenile to do those things in the first place. That's not a healthy relationship to really go that we're, you know, we can't be apart for a single second. We're just so close. We're attached, yada, yada. To get to that point where you are not doing those things, it raises a lot of red flags. It raises a lot of red flags. And I think as well, Harry is realizing, at least I hope he is somewhat, that Meghan really doesn't care about the whole royal thing. She's always been in this for herself. Dan Claire, do you think Harry's testimony this week will backfire? Yeah, because I don't think he's never been held to account by like an aggressive defense attorney. I mean, he's never even had a hard interview. A defense attorney is, I mean, all he's going to do is show how bad his temper is, in my opinion. Yeah, this is true. Blessings Having says, Brittany, it's not always good for a wife and husband and wife to stay in a toxic, addicted, unhealthy relationship because they're children. We have seen what it's done to our 5 and 7-year-old relatives. Yes, that's very true. That's very true. I'm not saying that that's not I mean, it's complicated. There's no good answer here to a certain extent, because what would be best is if the couple could stay together and work through their issues and come out the other side. But if nobody wants to work on the issues, then that becomes a difficult thing. Boots and Gypsy says, one of the highlights when Catherine and William married was on the balcony after they shared a kiss. They turned to walk away. Catherine glanced over the shoulder at the crowd one more time. Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, you want to imprint that on your memory. And it was really cool to have Chris Jackson get that shot of the crowd from the back of Charles and Camilla's heads. And I don't think we saw, but it'd be wonderful and cool to know if somebody had done that for Catherine and William. Because I think that would have been, like, especially, somebody had gotten the shot of them kissing from behind with the crowd. That would have been awesome. I don't think anybody did. So, but that was a bummer. Cindy says, Brittany, did you listen to Tim Dillon spilling tea about Meghan texting celebrities begging them to hang out? I've read it, and I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. This has been her desperate obsession for years. Years is to be a top tier celebrity. But Meghan, throughout her whole life, it seems, just takes the easy way out of things. She's not really there to work hard, because you've seen this in her acting. All her acting roles are basically the same. And this bit from Tom Bauer that I really appreciated and really, I think, explained a lot is that one of the theater professors did see potential in Meghan. Now, you could say they were wrong, but they felt like they saw potential, and they told her, well, you need to do theater. You need to work through the theater scene and everything. And Meghan went, no, she didn't want to. And if she had done that, perhaps she would have been a really quality actress, but she didn't want to. She didn't want to really work. And I've been told or heard that a lot of the writing, at least on the TIG, was she farmed out to people. The questions she asked the famous people that she got to respond were really inane and kind of vapid and vain. They just didn't really add anything shallow. When I think of Meghan, I think of a vain, vapid, shallow person. She wants to think she's deep, but she's really, really not. She's really, really not. Because if she was a deep person, if she did appreciate some of the things in life, I think she would have been much happier in the royal family. P Pacific said, did you notice the bride Rajwa wore flats? Yes, I did, because she had a long stinking day. I started that day at 4:30 in the morning. Sorry, not 4:30, 8:30 in the morning. And it didn't end until 3:34, something like that. And Rajwa had done that all day. And Abdullah is a bit shorter than his wife, Rania, and she tends to wear heels. And I think Rajwa is a little bit taller, or perhaps at least the same height as Hussein. And so I think she wore flats, but honestly, as well, just for all the things she had to do, flats made the most sense. Totally agree there. Brittany, I think you need to spend a year or two in the UK with Miss Pippa. Of course, you'd love it. Yeah, I would love to. And I'd love to as well, like, do some studies there too, but we'll have to see how that might work. Janet, what do you think of the rumor that Harry wants to meet with Thomas Markle? I don't think he may. If he wants some like truth or to get at something a bit deeper, I think definitely talking to Thomas Markle would be a good idea. Sam said, Hart Castle in Scotland. Yes. So yes, that is the castle I'm talking about. It is awesome. If you ever go up to Loch Ness, our tour started there. It was awesome. I enjoyed Loch Ness a lot. I thought it was great. Now, did we see Nessie? No, I'm sorry, we did not. But we had some fun. They had like a little fish finder on there so you could look for Nessie. There was an episode it was a bit to an episode. It wasn't an actual episode of How I Met Your Mother, a show I cannot watch because it ended so horribly in the end. The creators really missed the mark there. Is that her and her husband went to Scotland and went to Loch Ness for their honeymoon, and there's like this whole like series of events, things that happens. It's really cute. It's well worth looking up. I like Alison Hannigan as an actress. I think she's funny. And so that's just kind of interesting. Will the Markle be on the balcony for trooping? They technically can. There's no reason why they couldn't, unless Charles is changing who can be on the balcony, which I don't think he'll do. Again, for the coronation, this is a moment of state, not a moment of family. Family obviously plays a big role, but this is a moment of state. So it needed to be the state actors there, which was Charles and all the working members of the royal family. And in this case, actually, Louise and James, which I thought was lovely because I think they are lovely. So I think that made sense. But beyond that, I think, what is it? For the Trooping the Color, I think it'll be the whole family, or at least part of the family. So if Harry and Meghan go, I mean, there's nothing stopping them technically from going. They should go, because I think it's important for families to have strong relationships. I think that's good for the kids. It's good for everyone. I think someone was mentioning, or I saw a writing somewhere talking about how Harry and Meghan's kids, they have no cousins they talk to. They have no aunts and uncles they talk to. They have only one grandparent they talk to. Like they've lost out on so much because of their parents. And I think that's sad. So if they go, I think that would be lovely. It would also be entertaining. But they definitely wouldn't get the treatment they got before. So they won't be in a carriage or anything like that. They will be able to watch the trooping like the other members of the family, then go back to Buckingham Palace for the fly past, and then they can shuffle off to wherever they shuffle off to when they're in the UK. Although I could see them being petty and bringing themselves and not the kids. Because again, the kids might get a lot of attention, and Harry and Meghan don't seem to like that. So Andrea asked, this is an interesting question. Was Queen Noor invited to the wedding, or any of her children? So this was the last wife of the King of Jordan before he passed. He had 4. I don't think any of them really overlapped, but he did end up having 4 wives. And as far as I could tell, she was not there. And I don't know if any of her kids were there, because my understanding is, and this is again, just anecdotal, what I've heard from other things, that there's not a good relationship between Abdullah and Noor's side of the family. Because of that, I don't think they would be invited. They should have been, perhaps you could say, but if they weren't invited, I could see that being the primary reason. Terry asked, where do you think Harry will stay in the UK next week when he goes? I mean, he could always stay at Buckingham Palace. That is always an option for him. I know some people would be frustrated by that, but that's entirely true. So he could definitely be there. Or he could stay at a hotel. Those are a couple of his other options. But especially for the court case, he would be staying at a hotel. For trooping, he may be willing to stay in Buckingham Palace, but he would be under probably close watch, and Meghan and Harry don't like that. Would you ever consider doing a style evolution of royal family members, any country? It'd be kind of cool for the fashion channel. Yeah, I definitely would. I love the fashion channel. I think it's so fun. And obviously as well, it's at least in one way, it surpassed the main channel, which is crazy to think. Yeah, so yeah, a million views. That's still just, I think it says views are 40 times higher than usual for the video, which is kind of funny. So yeah, I would definitely consider doing that. I think that would be really interesting. One of the interesting things to consider is when Monaco, like Charlotte Katsaragi, signed a deal to be an ambassador for Chanel, and how her fashion has like plummeted since then, because I feel like everything Chanel puts her in is awful. And there's good stuff from Chanel. There really is, but everything I see her in is awful. And she's a gorgeous woman. She deserves better. Kathy says, do you think Harry and Meghan put out fake news plans to suspected untrustworthy sources? I'm sure they do. But it should be like inane things, not like, oh, Harry's spending a night in a hotel. If they're putting out those kind of rumors, it's not like the greatest rumors. It should be more inane things about the kids or about their lives, or something that's more harmless than something like, well, he's not spending time at home, because that's harmful to their image, I think. So Colleen says, why are people referring to William as Willie? So rude of Harry, and now the public is following a nickname from the spirit. No, I think Diana even called him Willie. I think that's been a nickname of his for quite a while. And again, people have nicknames. So I think that's fine. I don't see a super big issue there. Oh, I'm just getting to these to the comments about reaching million. Thank you. Yeah, that was super, super exciting. So it was just, yeah, it was some million views, which is utterly crazy. So exciting though. All right. So let's see if we got any. We have JP, the Dutch had the biggest collection of tiaras. Yeah, they have probably one of the best. It was definitely They have one of the best. Swedes, I would think, would be third. I would give it first to the Brits, then to the Dutch, and then to the Swedes. All right. So kids, Relevant says, put your questions in all caps so Brittany can see it. Yeah, that is helpful. So, but we won't stay on here too much longer because I know a lot of people have other things to do. And so Gigi says, hope you block the rude person that commented. I can't believe people will come to watch and be rude to a human being. You are lovely and truly enjoy your content. Why, thank you. Yeah, and I feel sorry for those people. Yeah, because obviously they have nothing better to do in the day than do this. So maybe the pot calling the kettle black. So anyways, so I ignore them. But I think it's funny to read some of them out loud from time to time because I think they're entertaining. Maria says, it's insane. It's such a rude comment, Brittany. You never complain. Love your channels. You do a fantastic job. Pay no attention to these people. Yeah, I don't. P Pacific says, anyone notice Jordan's bride Rajwa wore flats? Yes, I did. She definitely wore them. Again, he and his dad are a bit on the shorter end, so I understand it. And it was a long, long day. They disappeared during part of the reception. I was like, oh, thank goodness, they need a break. King Wilhelm Alexander kissed Queen Rainia's hand, which was sweet. Love the Crown Princess Amalia's curtsies. Yes, and I noticed a couple of royal men did that. And so I was curious what the standard would be. I think it would be, it was interesting watching Rainia and Abdullah greet people. Because some people, they did, the side kiss thing. And other people, they just shook their hands. And I especially was curious about Rainia and the men. And so she did do that, the side kiss thing with some of the men, but not most of them really. So I think it depends on how close you are and everything. So I think that's really interesting. Aussie walks all bush, beach, and city streets. Hi, Brittany. Hello, everyone. I'm late. It's 1 a.m. here in Australia. Oh, my goodness. I hope you are able to get some sleep here before too long. So Nama says, can you tell us about the tiara etiquette? Are there specific rules about who can wear them and when? Yes. So white tie event is considered a tiara event. And so you can wear, in general, pretty much what you want in terms of tiaras, but there are specific rules in specific households. So when it comes to the Brits, generally only women once they've married in. So if Catherine went to a white tie event when she was dating William, which she didn't, she would not be allowed to wear a tiara because she is not a royal yet. Her parents could have purchased one for her at the time, but again, the Brits have such a big collection that would have been a bit silly. But that's not the same in every family. So when the future Queen Maxima went to, I believe she went to the royal wedding, maybe it was of Crown Prince Haakon of Norway, or it might have been Queen Letizia or King Philippe of Spain, or it was one of the royals, because there was a couple getting married about the same time. Within a couple years of each other, several got married. And she got to wear a tiara, even though she hadn't officially married in yet. So the Queen lent her one, even though she was engaged, though. So it wasn't like they were just dating. She was actually engaged to him. But she was allowed to wear one. I've heard most people say, but I've seen different things about this, that you have to be married to wear a tiara. That's not the true, because Princess Anne was wearing a tiara before she was married. So that rule, I don't think is fast and true. And then you also have, when it comes to weddings, again, there's different levels. So there's different levels of tiaras. You have kind of starter tiaras, which are smaller, up to like the mid-range, and then what they call the big guns, which are the largest and most impressive in the royal family collection, and one's generally reserved for just the Queen. And so when it comes to those tiaras are primarily put aside for the Queen. Some families, like the Swedes, they interchange what tiaras they wear a lot. There's a couple reserved for the Queen, I think 3 or 4, and then the rest of the ladies move between them. There's only one, the bottom fringe, that's considered just reserved for the Crown Princess, but other family members have worn it if they've started to run out of options, basically. But when it comes to the Brits, basically what they did is, the Queen E was more old school, is that she wasn't really into sharing. So she had kept the vast majority of them, and then would lend out a tiara or two to other family members. So again, it all depends. It all depends. It's kind of somewhat nebulous rules. Different families have different rules. Some, like the European, they'll have big birthday parties and it'll be tiara events. So like Ingrid Alexander, her 18th birthday was a tiara event. And sometimes the ladies will wear the big ones. It's generally considered, you could say, rude to wear a big tiara if you are visiting a foreign country that's bigger perhaps than your hosts. The exception to that rule, because there's a lot of exceptions to the rules, I think would have been probably Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, who wore the Stuart tiara, which is the largest within the Netherlands collection with the 40-karat blue diamond on it. She wore that to her state dinner with Queen Elizabeth. But there is a historical relationship between the Stuart diamond and the British royal family. It spent time in the UK before going back to the Netherlands. So because of that historic connection, she went ahead and wore that tiara. But according to that, again, generally, like you don't try to upstage your host. So generally, if you wear tiaras, it should be somewhat more understated. But if you are the queen, you want to wear something big, you can wear something big. So anyways, that's that's kind of complicated. But yeah, it all depends on the families. Families have different things they like to do. And so, yeah. So Eve Lenny says, Queen Noor and her kids seem to have been cut off. King Abdullah placed her son Hamza, his half-brother, under house arrest as a crackdown measure on critics. Quite a dictator, isn't he? Yeah, it is rather interesting to see that. And again, because you do have so many kids and things like that, there are competition for roles or titles and things that aren't there in the European roles. Because generally, you know, most families have 2 or 3 children, maybe 4. So there's not really that same competition when you have 24. And then you can start getting into complicated territory, because that's how many kids the former Emir of Qatar has, is 24 children with 3 wives. So you can see a lot of kind of battling within there potentially. DF says, did you ever hear about Meghan before she married Harry? I did not hear about her until she was connected with Harry. I had no clue who she was, and I tended to watch Hollywood. So she was totally and I had seen Horrible Bosses. I liked Horrible Bosses. Didn't remember her at all. I liked Fringe. I had seen Fringe. Didn't remember her at all when they mentioned her name. I thought, honestly, when I first heard the reports, that she struck me as a desperate low-tier actress who wanted a bit of fame and attention, and she somehow had enough of a connection to kind of fudge and say, oh yeah, I met Prince Harry, and was kind of trying to boost her image by claiming she was dating him. That was my first indication. So Lee Foster says, would you do another UK tour about royal history in places such as York? It would depend, because the tour company I went with was pretty rigid in their schedule. And I think though next time, because I saw somebody else who has a pretty tailored UK, London, and Cotswolds tour. So I think once you've been successful with them, they're more willing to be creative and different with you in terms of timing and what you can see and everything. So I don't know if we would go to York, but I would like to go to York personally, me. Rashida Jones, what do you think are the most defining character traits of the best royal family members? Humility, because you will be somewhat humble. I think a appreciation of history and tradition, and just an honor to other family members. I think that would be good. Roberta says, who would you hold up Pippa to the screen, Brittany? Well, let's see if she'll come here. Hey, Miss Pippa, you want to come here? Good girl. She doesn't know why I'm... Okay, there we go. There we go. There she is. She just got a drink of water. It's a hot day here. Yeah. Yeah. So she's like, I don't know what this is, but it's weird. Yeah. I need to get her some more bones because she does like to chew. All right. Blessings, Heavenly. Brittany, you are spot on about the racial. She is about Rachel. She is lazy, self-centered, and selfish. I don't think the Queen said evil. I said that. I don't think she would ever say that about anyone except for maybe Hitler. So that's what I said. Mary says, Mary, thank you so much for the super sticker. You are so sweet. I do appreciate it. So does Miss Pippa, because that helps with her little her bone collection. She needs more bones to choose. She loves it. She only likes one ball, though. She has a very special ball, and that's the only one she wants to play with. Just Saying says, do you really believe they'd be invited to trooping? I understand why the king had to invite them to the coronation. I just don't think anyone wants them on the balcony. I mean, I think that's totally true. But at the same time, again, the royal family looks infinitely better inviting them to events than pushing them away from events, I think. Mama Otter, hey, how are you doing? Can you see Catherine roll out Queen Alexandra Kokoshnik tiara in the future? It suits her, but would be appropriate for her rank at the moment. That's a tough, oh yes, that's a tough one. I think I posited maybe that one in one of the tiara videos as a possibility. I don't think we've seen that one as a tiara, like put into a tiara frame in oh gosh, a century maybe. So it would be lovely if they would do that for her. I think it's been a bit since we've seen someone even wear the necklace. So it would just be awesome if they could. So if you don't know, some tiaras can be converted into necklaces and vice versa. So it is an opportunity, I think, to bust out that tiara again. I want to give her something because I just want her to have something else. I just want her to have something else. And so Mama Otter, I hope you had a great rest of your time there in the UK. So it's good to hear from you again. All right, Carol, love your audience. Such intelligence questions, Brittany. Thank you. So enjoyable. Yeah, I'm glad you like me rambling on about things sometimes. Boots and Boots Sand Gypsy, your fashion channel is awesome. I appreciate the hard work you do. You need to wear a tiara when you do that. I do. Well, I do have fascinators. I think they're actually at my other place though. So I need to go grab those. And I got actually a special headband from LK Bennett, which I'll have to show you guys. I'm kind of waiting until I get something else to come in, because I think it'll be, I think it'll be really, really cool. I'm really hoping it comes together well. It was like a specialty. Well, not really a specialty, but they said they were going to do a limited run of this dress. So I managed to grab one. And so I'm hoping it comes in soon because I'm super, super excited. And it would just be great because it would be like a whole lilac thing. It's very pretty. And if it fills a dream I had, I was looking for something. And I didn't want to spend a ton, but I found exactly kind of what I was looking for. So I need to mold it a bit more, but we'll see. Anyways, you'll know it when you see it. Brittany, do you think maybe you could do a fashion video with items in your closet that are Catherine's closet, or dupes or things that are close to include makeup and jewelry? That would be fun. Yes. So I actually spent some time, and I think this was in December because it's been a while, somebody did a list of like products that the royals like. So I bought most of those products I was planning on showing them. I actually used one of them and I did not like it. So I would tell you what to use instead because I wasn't a fan of it. It was a what was it? It was a mascara. And so anyways, I did not like that, but I can recommend an alternative that I like. But I'm planning on doing that. If you could see the pile of stuff in the corner. And I made a decision to change, like, and rearrange what I was going to do in terms of, I have 2 spare rooms. One of them was going to be kind of an extended closet. The other one was going to be a filming room, but now I've kind of switched what I'm going to do with those. So anyways, I think it would be very, very fun. So Marcel says, I remember seeing a repeat episode of Castle where Meghan played an obscure character who's suspected of murder. Didn't even know who she was at the time of the original airing. Yeah, nobody knew who she was. She really had no idea nobody did. Nobody did. Colleen says, do you think Harry and Meghan moving back to the UK, if it does happen, what would you think the outcome? If they did move back, it proves that they utterly failed in Hollywood. It'd be like a very public acknowledgement of their complete and total failure in that area. But goodness graciouses. But I could also see them doing it because I think they're realizing that to be royal, you actually need to be royal. When you just claim you're royal and you have no connection to the UK, you just look kind of silly. So anyway, so guys, I think I've hit about the end here. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up because obviously it is Saturday and I know you all have things to do and people to see. And so anyways, all right, guys. So thank you so much for watching and checking out. I hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. All right. Bye.